Hey, friends! Welcome back. Nettie here at Transcendent Love. Hey. How's your day? Again, I hope that you're having a stupendous day. I am. That don't really change for me, but I'm grateful because it is a marker of growth. It's a marker of growth because Shawty came a mighty long way. But today, Spirit gave me some downloads for y'all. A number of different downloads. Some of them from today, and just over the last several days. But I'm thinking about doing a challenge. I don't really know how many days. At first, I was thinking 30 days. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking about it. Or I may just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But Spirit has been talking to me about teaching how to actually change. Very much like learning, no one teaches you how to learn up until recent years. And when I say no one, I mean like when you were growing up and you were in school, you learn, like you were told what to learn, you were never told how to learn. So many people have grown up thinking that they are struggle learners, but really, you just needed somebody to help you learn how you learn, what ways are most effective for you to learn. They touched on it just a little bit whenever they got into like, are you an auditory learner? Do you learn best by seeing, best by doing? That kind of thing was very surface level at that, but yet and still it wasn't a lot of time spent on that very early on. Not for nothing, but anyway, um we aren't taught how to change. One of the things that is very important and crucial to the change that we are trying to accomplish is our belief system, the way that we believe and think toward ourselves. A little while ago, and you can go back and check this video out, what Spirit was talking to me about, like everything you want being on the other side, or being the key, or self-love being the key to everything you want, and everything you want being on the other side of that. There is so much significance in that, and so there's a need to do this rundown. Self-care is not just spa days and manicures and pedicures and going taking yourself out on a date. That is a part of it, but it's so much more than that. We are building up a belief system within ourselves that we have over the years, with assistance and conditioning, been taught to tear down. So we don't think a whole lot of ourselves, which can be easily seen in the conversation that we have internally with and of ourselves. Nobody else can really hear it, but it's evident in the way that you live and the way you carry out your life. The only reason why you wouldn't have and be all the places that Spirit gave you the desire to want to be and have is because you haven't aligned with it. You haven't taken on the actual belief that you can. If you had, you'd already be there. So, yeah, this is the thing that we have to work on. We have goals, we have things to accomplish in this life. So it is imperative that we learn how to actually change. And some of that, we we are self-sabotaging without really knowing it. And it's now time that we actually take a look at it, to be able to take accountability and responsibility for those things so that we can get to the place that we want to be. I don't know if you know this, but change don't just happen. Real change, it doesn't just happen. Now, often it'll seem like it. but it doesn't. Some things and even hardships come along to propel you into a different place that you're supposed to be in versus the place that you've chosen to be in. Now, that's a more specific topic for another day, but Spirit was speaking explicitly toward how we move and self sabotage through our words. We are such autopilot and subconscious livers that we're not we're not conscious. It's really just that simple. We're living very unconscious lives. And all of righteousness and all of consciousness is in awareness. So you have to be aware at all times what is going on within your realm, within your frequency, and you have to carefully cultivate and curate all things in your life. We get so hemmed up, and it's something that is going to require more work over time, but we have to be more serious about it. Like some things I refuse to say. I will never tell you or claim to be or play to be BROKE. Not me, boo. You can have it. You can play like that all day. It won't be me. Nah, I'm good. I take that shit too seriously. It ain't. No, I ain't speaking that shit over me. And it seems like I'm just playing. Are you? And in your daily conversation with yourself, are you actually expressing broke thoughts to yourself within yourself? You don't want to buy something because that costs too much. I ain't got enough money. Now, there are times where you can't buy that. Your funds are allocated someplace else. It doesn't fit in the budget right now. Yes, but that doesn't mean that you are broke unless you call it and believe such. And the more you believe it, the more true it becomes for you. And no matter, and so you see what happens here is you are closely and more emotionally attached to this brokenness than you are the wealth that you are attempting to attain. And because that is the case, you carry out this conversation within that nobody hears but you, that pushes you more toward that. So be careful with that. But also, it's small things that we are just, we make excuses. Listen, I want you to know that you are both God and the devil. Hear me out. The devil, I'm curious, like people think of the devil in such an unusual way, but I've been there. The devil is not something that's outside of yourself. Nothing is outside of you. All things are within. So that makes that also a part of you. And only thing that is being made reference to where the devil is concerned is that old frame of thought. And even that is not bad. You got there for a reason. You picked up that thought process as a means of protection and it got you here. So it's not bad. It's just no longer of use to you. So that is the devil that everybody is referring to, even though it's often made to seem outside of yourself. And that place that we really gotta be careful too, because that plays into this self-diminishing aspect that creates more and more cyclic self-sabotage. So Spirit was speaking this morning about the word trigger. And You only use trigger, the word trigger, the existence of trigger is of great significance. It only has two functions, is what Spirit says. One is it's an excuse for your behavior, and two is it's a catalyst for change. The intention is for it to be a catalyst for change. It draws your attention. It should draw your attention. It is data. It is a feeling. And as we know, feelings are data. And so now that you've been triggered, you have the data necessary that tells you that you need to go deeper, that you need to figure out why this thing triggers you. But more often than not, we will say, I was triggered, and then we move more so into the thing that we're saying that we're trying to get away from. You have to be a whole lot more intentional than that, because it doesn't matter what you say with your words, you're more connected to whatever you're doing and whatever the emotion is that is associated with it. That is why when you say something in your actual belief system doesn't line up with it, you don't get that. You get the opposite. Why do you get the opposite? Because your actual feelings that you aren't willing to look at is actually more closely associated and attached to that thing that you say you don't want. So it's calling more of that in. So it's going to be very difficult for you to make a change while you're continually using triggered and other words like it as an excuse instead of a catalyst to go deeper into the shadow work and figure out, why am I triggered by that? Why? Why would that be something that bothers me, no matter what it is? Because there's a reason for that thing bothering you. And because we don't do enough introspective leaning into this shadow side, we don't know ourselves. And when we don't know ourselves, we cannot accept those parts that we often deem to be flawed. And we do not learn to love those parts of ourselves. And a part of loving those parts are accepting that they are different than you want them to be, wish that they were, and even thought that they were, in loving yourself enough to discover and dive deeper into whatever that trigger is, instead of using that as an excuse to stay the same. You don't know that you're doing it. That is that subconscious part of you. And even to take it a step further, that subconscious part of you is only trying to protect you. So that devil is not trying to harm you, it is actually trying to protect you. The problem is that its means of protection is from an older programming, it's from an old place that no longer is valid for the time. You no longer, but until you give it something new hardware or new software on the hardware, new programming to function at its best and most optimal for the place that you are and trying to be, it will continue to run the old program. You will think about your computer. Your computer is never going to run on a program that you never install. It'll only run on what is installed on the computer already. So think about your subconscious being your computer. The hard drive on your computer is what houses the programming that runs that computer. So anything that's already there, anything that's already been programmed onto the hardware of your computer is all that will present on your screen. It will not do nothing more or nothing less than what is on the hard drive. But you can always go in and delete the current programming and add new, better software, upgraded software to that hard drive, to that programming to make it function optimally for the place that you want it to function. You are no different. It is exactly the same, except the hardware that we're faced with and the software, the programming is our mindset. Very closely associated with, and not even associated with, is the things that we've been conditioned to over this time. Not all of them are bad, they just aren't useful for where you're trying to go. Listen, Windows 98 was great in 98, in 99 too, probably, maybe even in 2000. But in 2005, there have been a many upgrades and updates that cause that thing to function way better than Windows 98. You were no different. So, what happened? There was intentional planning for an upgrade, and they changed the software to optimize for where they wanted to go, to create and expand into the future, into a different timeline. That is exactly what happened. And now, in general, computers are much faster. They do a whole lot more than they ever have done. And what is happening continually? They're constantly working on the programming, updating it, making it better, optimizing it for where they want it to go, optimizing it to function in a different space in the future than it does now. You are the computer, but you're also the programmer. You are both things. And if you can think about it this way, the spirit, the God part of you is the creator, the programmer. And the computer part of you is that devil part that everybody talks about. That is not a bad part. It's just not beneficial to where you're going. So you are creating within yourself the desired reality. You are chiseling away. You are the sculptor in the sculpture. You are all things. And you create the life that you want, whether it be by excuses made toward self sabotage and staying the same, or acceptance and recreation, reprogramming. But you got to choose. Do you actually want this change? And so when Spirit wants me to go back to this word trigger. When we use words like trigger, we stall ourselves out. We self sabotage without knowing. So when you feel things like that, you got to be serious. Like people say, be for real. Because it's very for real. Do you really want to change or no? Do you really want your life to change or no? And if not, that's fine. But we gotta actually be for real about it. We gotta be truthful and honest with ourselves. And I will not hold you here. One of the most difficult components of changing your life is telling yourself the truth, because you've been lying to yourself for a very long time. It has never seemed like lies, but baby, they've been lies. They've been lies, because if they were not, that stuff would be manifest right now. Whatever it is, it would be made manifest right now. You wouldn't be waiting on it. Oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You ain't been working on it for real. Self-love is being honest with yourself and having the courage to see all the lies that you've told yourself all this time. And the ones you still telling yourself. The truth really is in the pudding. Your world and everything that you're living out is the pudding. And you not hiding from nobody but yourself. You're the only one that can't see it. Well, and probably other people that often lie to themselves too. They can they believe you probably. Anyway, um, nothing but wish fulfillment comes from this place of work. And even though it's hard, even though it's gonna be challenging, I don't want to say hard, because learning to love yourself, it has its challenges. It ain't hard. It really ain't nothing hard about love, contrary to popular belief and what people want you to say and believe and think. Love ain't hard. Challenging and requiring work sometimes, perhaps. Actually, 100%. Because you got to show up. But you'll love yourself at the end of it all in ways that you never knew possible. And not because like you ever even thought about the fact that you weren't loving yourself for real, because you never did know. You never did even know. We just been on autopilot, going and doing everything that people tell us to go and do, and living, even because somebody is saying, not me, I always did my own thing. You only think that you always did your own thing. In some regards, it very well seemed like your own thing, but also not. But it's time to transcend in love. And real change is how you do that. And real love toward and for yourself is how you do that. So here we go. We on the love journey. We on the love train. Love train. uh, yeah, it all starts inside. It all starts. That love train just about took me out on the backside too, man. Anyway, that's the message. We do gotta love. We gotta learn to love ourselves truly and authentically. Then we'll be able to give that to people as well. We'll actually be able to genuinely and sincerely love other people. This is another lie we tell ourselves too. Like, the world has us to focus on other people instead of focusing on ourselves and the change that we need to make inside of ourselves, we be really thinking we loving people hard. Imagine that they're not even receiving a fraction of the actual love that you have to give because you haven't tapped into it yet. You have never experienced it to give. So all them times people felt like you wasn't really loving them well, no matter what you was doing and how hard you was working, it was true. You was breaking your back for them too. You thought. Anyway, that's the message. That is the message. Let's go on and love ourselves. Let's practice today. Also, another book reference. Thank you, Spirit. I, there's a book called The Power of Awareness, one. And there's another book that's called Atomic Habits. It would seem like one has nothing to do with the other, but it does. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So both of those are good reads. The Power of Awareness is a smaller book. It's shorter, but certainly powerful as heck. You probably don't even need Atomic Habits once you get into the Power of Awareness, but just starting out, I do recommend both of those. It offers two different perspectives on the same point. And one is kind of, Atomic Habits is a little less, it seems less spiritual, whereas Awareness is a more consciously binding, is what Spirit says, book. So read them both. The Power of Awareness is by Neville Goddard, and Atomic Habits is by, I don't remember his name. I can't think of his name at the moment, but it's the only book that I know of out there that's called Atomic Habits. And it'll serve you well to read them both. Anyway, that's the message for real this time. I love you. Until next time, holla at your girl. Like, share, and subscribe. And come on and let's be better. Let's do better. Let's do it together. Because I hope y'all don't think y'all doing this by yourself. No, I'm doing all this with y'all. Anyway, love and light.